And speaking of moving on, I think that stands on the adaptability and ability of Virgin Islanders to advance. We would have seen it following the 2017 hurricanes, and we have seen it again following the arrest of the Premier. I mean, a situation that nobody saw coming. But it was almost like the territory was ready to take whatever challenges unfolded, and that's what we would have seen with the formation of the National Unity Government, who, in short, possibly saved the territory from giving away its democracy. More in this report. In the hours that followed the governor's confirmation of then-Premier Andrew Foy's arrest, one may have assumed that things in the territory, from the standpoint of governance, were in a stable enough position to lead the territory through the transitional period amid the fallout anticipated surrounding that event. This is due greatly to statements issued by Dr. Natalia Wheatley, who took up the mantle as acting premier on that occasion. Wheatley delivered an almost calming message to the territory, indicating that there was a plan to move forward after he emerged from meetings with several relevant stakeholders, including Governor John Rankin, who indicated to him at the time that the Commission of Inquiry report would be released sooner than expected in light of the Premier's arrest, while asserting simultaneously that the two events were not related. As if predicting what would come in the weeks that followed, however, Wheatley at the time spoke to possible setback of historical and constitutional progress made by the people of the Virgin Islands.
I urge the public to read the report with an objective eye in terms of strengthening our systems of government under a democratic framework of governance, as opposed to draconian measures that would set back the historical constitutional progress we have made as a people. As I have continued to say, we remain committed to good governance. This is a difficult time, and I ask that we come together as a community and remain in prayer. As agreed with the governor and my political colleagues, I will remain acting premier. I will update you again in due course.
Less than 24 hours later came the release of the COI report and first confirmation that it threatened the partial suspension of the Constitution for an initial period of 2 years, inclusive of the dissolution of the House of Assembly and a suspension of ministerial government, a move that Commissioner Sir Gary Hickenbottom justified as, quote, the only way in which the relevant issues can be addressed. In the COI report document, Hickenbottom remarked, quote, unless the most urgent and drastic steps are taken, the current situation with the elected government deliberately ignoring the tenets of good governance will go on indefinitely, end quote. This news sent shockwaves through the territory and the wider Caribbean region and prompted swift response from acting Premier Wheatley, who asserted the necessity of maintaining democracy and the modern-day arrangement of the UK-BVI relationship.
What this would mean in real terms is that there would be no more elected representatives who represent the people of the districts and the territory in the House of Assembly, where laws are made for our society. There also would be no government ministers to advance the public priorities or a cabinet to approve a policy. All of this authority would be vested in the governor.
While Caribbean governments and regional agencies shared their support for the Virgin Islands and its people during a time that exacerbated an already difficult fight for self-determination, UK opposition Labour MP Chris J. Bryant called for the UK Foreign Office to take direct control of the territory pending further investigation into allegations of corruption and money laundering against Foy. Contention on this issue quickly grew more pungent, and opposition throughout the Virgin Islands society grew extremely obvious by the following day, with some dubbing the time as a signal of the territory's, quote, goodbye to self-governance. Wheatley addressed the public on April 30th in a program entitled Forging Forward Together and revealed that the sitting government had begun to regroup in recognition of the need to have the position of Premier filled, given the prevalence of issues in need of, quote, urgent and devoted attention. Wheatley was subsequently appointed leader of the incumbent Virgin Islands Party and slated to become the next Premier upon Foy's resignation or removal from that post. Less than a week later, Foy was removed by a nearly unanimous vote in the House of Assembly, setting the stage for Wheatley's appointment. At this point, however, there was still great uncertainty surrounding whether this move would have any impact on the issues at hand, given the looming possibility of partial suspension of the constitution and ministerial government. Perhaps most influential to what came next were the events of May 2nd and 3rd.